welcome to the Firepower Podcast. This is a show where we talk about the Firepower comic book series, by Robert Kirkman, Chris Samnee, Matt Wilson, and Russ Wooten. Today, I'm your host Bash, and I'm joined by my friend and my fellow co-host Charlie. How are you doing today, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. Just came back from Mission Impossible earlier today. It was a lot of fun, and then just dug into some comics. Actually, not too big of a side tangent, but it was kind of nice to see all of these massive verse creators on different books. Like we had Igor on the Flash Night Terrors this week, and I think Darko Lafuente as well was on Doom Patrol #4, which I was surprised about. So just seeing different creators around, kind of in those DC books, was super exciting. And then just diving into Firepower today. This was a super crazy issue. Kind of sad Ali couldn't make it, but he'll be back for an exciting next one, I hope. And getting ready to get into it. How are you doing, man?
That's really good. Yeah, it's always a good week when we get tons of good books, and it's always more exciting when there's Massiverse alumni. I'm pretty good. Yeah, I read the same books you're talking about, and yeah, it was a great week. And a lot of people are kind of down on the whole night terrorist thing right now, but I'm actually kind of enjoying it.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, it sucks that it paused it on the DC stuff for sure, but still excited nonetheless. But more on the firepower news. One thing we were talking about earlier is we were looking at the solicits, and of course, a couple of weeks ago we had the FOC for Firepower 25, and there was a Greg Capullo variant where he did with I think Dave McCaig and Jonathan Glapian. It was a really cool cover. We all dug it. We talked about it on the last episode, but we were looking to the solicits and on just today, and we saw that there's a Firepower 26 variant and a Firepower 27 variant. So I don't want to jump to any conclusions just yet, but it seems like we made maybe a regular thing. But the 26 variant's by David Aja, and I'm just like, Hawkeye, and
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
everyone knows him, everyone loves him, and I'm just really excited. Like, I can't wait to see what that is.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Yeah, I was just going back, like just hearing you say that today. I was just going back through a bunch of his old covers, just kind of picturing what one could look like, and I'm just so excited for that reveal, especially. But yeah, that's a pretty exciting possibility.
Yeah, and we're not going to talk about any of the solicits for the newer issues because there are spoilers that we might not be caught up to yet. But I suppose after today's issue, we'll be okay. So for the next few reviews, we should be
Yes.
caught up on most of the spoilers that aren't like life or death related. So that should be exciting. And yeah, let's dive into the issue. So Firepower number 18, really cool. Waylon under the Serpent's own control, over the bodies of the Johnson family. Very dramatic. Of course, this was very scary. This is Kirkman. You see this
Yeah.
cover. Yeah, you're probably thinking the same thing I was. Like, how many casualties?
Oh yeah, this is a pretty just brutal cover. Like they don't take it easy on anyone here. Like we got the whole family just dead in the snow right in front of them. So yeah, definitely not a very happy cover. But yeah, this issue is just super just stressful kind of throughout the whole way.
Yeah, I really love how the reds and oranges blend into the gray and blues. Like, you can see the reflection of the fire on the bodies and on even the face of Owen. And I just think that's just literal masterful coloring. That's why Matt Wilson is an Eisner Award-winning colorist, because that's incredible. So yeah, I just love that kind of stuff. It's small, but it's really big at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's huge.
So without further ado, let's talk about the issue. So yeah, we've got Robert Kirkman, creator writer, Chris Samnee, creator artist, Matt Wilson, colorist, Russ Wooten, letterer, Mandela Franco, editor, Andre Juarez, logo and production design, and Karina Taylor on production. Previously, Master Shah awoke from the statue and called forth the Serpent's will to take control of the rest of the temple. Wei Lun, Maguang, and Ling Zan were no match for his power and fell to the Serpent's control. Even Owen found that Master Shah's ability far exceeded his own. Quickly surrounded, Owen and Kelly made a bold attempt to escape the crumbling temple, only to come face to face with Haley, Doug, and Reggie at the mountain's edge. what a way to end the last issue, literally on a cliffhanger, like literally, right? Like they're standing at the edge of a
Yeah,
mountain.
yeah,
So
no, and yeah, just continues. I love like this is exactly kind of what our thoughts were at the end of last issue. Like why did why like why were these kids brought here? What was Reggie thinking? Definitely, I don't know. I could definitely see his thinking. Like they're not really safe anywhere at this point. But yeah, definitely is the wrong place at the wrong time, especially as we flip to the next page and kind of see really the landscape and everything that's going on here. Probably not the safest place for them to be right now.
agreed. I really love, on the first page we got the obviously the confounded faces of Owen and Kelly, but then Kelly's you see her further develop her reaction, in that third panel where she's just like safe, safe, and it's just such a funny expression because I think it really shows you, the stakes of the moment. Like they've just lost it completely. Like there's nowhere safe to go. It seems like the world's coming to an end because there may or may not be either a massive earthquake or a dragon or both, as we'll find out later on. So, what do you think of this next page, though? This gorgeous double page spread, big splash page right here. I mean, my God, that is both haunting and gorgeous at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It just yeah, it shows all the chaos going on. We got Shu Fang. I think that Shu Fang there on the right. But kind of we see everyone super creepy, just all these zombies. I haven't read much Walking Dead, but this kind of just feels like something that would be in there with all these zombies just kind of coming at him. And I love just Wei Lun kind of propped up there with his Jordans there. He just like he looks different from all the rest. Like he's still kind of just doing his own thing off to the side. But yeah, no, this is just a gorgeous page, really dark and the colors are super like they're pretty vibrant, but really dark at the same time. Like it's just super well done, and yeah, just a lot of chaos going on.
Yeah, I really like just how it shows you how the distance almost, some of them fading into the fire, somewhere you could only see the shadows, and yeah, really incredible stuff. And then the next page, it's another full page spread, and it just shows you how chaotic this whole issue is because we go from one second of like we're setting up this fight between all the conquered opponents, which is the Johnson family at this point, surrounded by Serpent's Omen, mind-controlled former allies. But then you realize, like, it doesn't even matter because the ground beneath them is crumbling, the mountain is crumbling, there might even be an avalanche forming amongst all this fire. There may or may not be a dragon. At this point, they're still unsure. But, I love how Owen, like, you could realize it's both panic setting in, but also like measuring and weighing the situation. And he's just like, "Look, we're not safe here. Fuck the fighting. We gotta go. Let's run."
Yeah, I love just yeah the reaction. Like he's just always like quick on his feet, just like needs his family to safety. Like he's just so like that. That's always his first priority, right? So yeah, he's kind of locked in. He knows what to do. They're gonna run down the cliff, and then I love just Wei Lun here, kind of in the background, alluding to the cover a little bit, like gonna be hunting these guys down this cliff here. So I just love the tension and kind of that panel set there, kind of coming down them, just running down the hill, and just knowing that Wei Lun's kind of just behind them chasing.
Agreed. And it feels kind of personal, so it had me wondering whether like Serpent's Omen can channel, like can tap into the person's memories. Like, can they see what this person's thinking? Do they understand their relationship? Because that would make this a lot more personal. But yeah, like it's
Yeah, that's
like
true.
yeah, it's like someone mind controlling your parent to beat the shit out of you. You know what I mean? But like in this kind of context. But yeah, I love. I think one of the coolest moments of the last few issues, and in terms of a very important moment for someone for character development and some things that we've been discussing, is Haley here when she just seizing the moment, very clutch, grabs the dragon by the neck and just incinerates it with her bare hands. And I love the panel where I love all three panels, but I love that final panel where you just see the ash left over and the snake turned to bones and then to dust. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah, and then Doug, he's like, "That was rad, man!" Like that. His reaction
Yeah,
was pretty funny.
he's like the biggest cheerleader, you know.
Oh, always, and I love Haley's face there too, with like all the ash, like just sit, like kind of spewing down in front of her. She's almost like disgusted in a way.
Yeah, you're like,
It's
oh
kind of
shit.
funny.
Yeah.
um,
I love what's his name, Wei Lun's reaction as well. I love how his first reaction is like, I failed everybody, I failed myself. Like, how could I let the freaking snake like mind control me? And it's like even Owen's like, dude, like cut yourself some slack, man. No time for regrets. Like all this shit's happening. But then I love that, like again, it's just the chaos of the moment. You can see that there's just so much going on. There's too many variables to account for. Whether it's the land itself because of, it's some avalanche forming, or just the pure chaos. Whether it's Chenzul now returning because he's under the influence of the serpent's omen. It's just there's so much going on, and that's where you see they're surrounded. And it gets even more personal as the issue progresses because the next person that puts the beat down on Owen is Ling Zan. But like the first time reading this, did you think he had the courage to like burn that snake off of her? Do you think he would reply that way? Because like I'm glad they showed that he hesitated, that he like apologized in a way, because that shows like he really regrets it. And I thought that was a really cool moment before he ultimately rescued her.
yeah, that's true. I think for me, after I was it last issue or 2 issues ago, when Buddy absolutely just like booted her right in the chest, like to save her from Kelly, like that just made me like that kind of threw that out of the window for me. But no, I think, yeah, this is kind of a different level for sure, and he definitely, like, it shows like he is sorry. He never wants to hurt her. It was just kind of a funny moment in last issue, but just, yeah, again, the coloring with the fire, him like burning it off, like that's really always coloring always shines, but especially like when the firepower always comes out, that's always, yeah, just A1 stuff there.
Saying one thing I love about this issue is that I love the throwback to Firepower number 12. In that Firepower number 12, we see the scales in the water for the first time. That's the first time there's an ambiguous reference to the reader. Like there may or may not be something here, something, supernatural or like a
Yeah.
dragon. But then here, Doug in midair, upside down, sees those scales again, and he keeps bringing it up. He's like, I saw, and then Owen's like, we see it too. And then you get this just like insane moment out of nowhere. It's a freaking wave. Like,
It
what did
is
he just
good.
beat down a freaking boulder?
uh
Like, did he just like fucking beat down a boulder with his fists? Like, what is that, bro?
Yeah, no, this is some Superman shit, man. Like it was like he just comes in here, wrecks this boulder, and have like he always has the craziest moments in here. If it's just like exposing the entire martial arts course in basketball, or biting all these snakes' heads off, or he's like blowing all these boulders apart. Like this guy just has so many cool moments in this book, and yeah, I'm here for all of
Yeah,
it.
no, I agree. This is like commission worthy stuff right here. Like, look at this guy in midair. It's like, okay, all
So
he's missing
cool.
is a cape. That's it. But I love that page, and I love Doug's face. Like Doug's face is one of the highlights of the entire series. Just look at his face when he's like, "No, Dad, I saw," and he's like, "Doug, we get it." It's just like, look at his face. It's just pure. Like I love how Chris Samnee captures the perfect expression, and I wonder if those are both from reading and from his personal experiences as a father with his daughters and stuff. Because I feel like he just captures he captures it so raw, so authentically, and I absolutely love that. And even in the following panel, he's like, "But Dad," and there's always like groaning, and Owen's like, "Nah, the tremors are getting worse. Like we gotta go," almost like completely dismissing him because. It's part of like probably like in the moment they don't want to make things worse, but probably like there's no way it's a dragon, right? Like denial. But man, I just love these next few pages of what Chris Samnee called in the RC Coda section the Scooby Doo moment of when they're like motioning to go hide in the caves, as they hide from the villains. And I just absolutely love
Yeah.
that. It's these silent panels, but they say so much.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and I love that like the whole sequence, like when the mountain's like rumbling and like tearing apart again even more, and they just kind of slide down the cliff, and they're all just kind of like holding each other, and they're able to like help each other down like a pretty steep ledge. But yeah, it's just so well done, and it's just non-stop action, and it's super cool, and yeah, definitely this issue is just huge, really, like they've been leading to this thing like since the beginning for sure. And yeah, right when we see kind of what was hidden in that mountain, it's
And the
wonders, man.
thing is, like we've been faked out before. So reading this for the first time, I was both like
Yeah,
doubting it, right?
yeah,
I'm like
that's true.
skeptical at that point.
He's good at that. Yeah, cliffhanger is about to come out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I
no,
kept
that's
focusing on
true.
like who's gonna die because it's Kirkman we're talking about here. So
Yeah,
I'm like PTSD from Kirkman series. I'm just like I'm always waiting for someone to die and someone we love because like I was literally waiting for him to kill Peanut Butter or something in this issue, even though Peanut Butter's not in here. Because it's like that's the kind of shit Kirkman does. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, no, that's completely fair, and just love the sequence for sure. Like he's just they're all just in their like safe space, like little cave at this point. Like the whole family's cluttered here. You got a bunch of the serpents outside, but they got a pretty good hiding spot here. But yeah, then the next
Oh
reveal,
my
kind of when we
god.
get to see what's on the other side, that's just
Oh
yeah,
my
definitely been
god.
waiting for this moment for a
Yeah.
while. This dragon is
I
absolutely
was in
gorgeous,
awe.
and it's real.
Oh
It's
yeah, I mean,
real.
I was in awe seeing this for the first time, just like we all are. And I remember thinking to myself, like, because I'm just like I read this multiple times, and the first time I read it, obviously I was in the moment. I was like, oh my god, Master Shaw's up there, like, swinging his big dick, just going like, oh, I'm the man, I'm finally free. But I kept thinking like Shazam one, it's like, dude, this guy must sound like a fucking ant. Like they must hear him like squeaking from far away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like nobody can hear
No,
him
that's
talk.
so
Like
true.
but I just thought it was so funny. The dude's monologuing, and obviously every shot with the dragon is just pure Chris Samnee, Mac Wilson, just glory. And then the ending with "That's what I saw. That's what I was trying to say. It's a motherfucking dragon," and just like the look of like awe on every single person's face except Doug because he's already seen it and he kept trying to explain to them. I thought that was the perfect way to end this issue. This was a really good issue.
Really was, and they really just captured the scale of this dragon. Like it's, I don't know where this thing was sleeping, but yeah, it was deep underground because this thing's fucking ginormous. But no, it's a cool design. All the colors on this thing are gorgeous, and then kind of going back, it's like they definitely lean into the more traditional like Chinese dragon design opposed to like the more medieval stuff, which is so just fitting for this. And it definitely looks more like serpent like too, I find, which I do really like as well.
Yeah, it looks very cloud serpenty, and I really like that. It's a very cool design. It is like insanely massive. Like I can't wait to see this thing battle. And I don't want to I don't want to spoil anything, but if you guys are caught up, then you can see in the most recent issues some of the solicits. There's very interesting developments moving forward. So it seems like this is going to be a mainstay for a while. It's going to shape how the series becomes impacted. But yeah, I just want to say, like overall, this was another fantastic issue. And in the RC Coda, I noticed that they say that they wanted to go for a full splash page issue, and it's something that Eric Larson did with Savage Dragon, something that Walter Simonson has done before, and so like Kirkman and Samnee both really wanted to do it, and they got close in this issue, but Kirkman kind of felt regretful because he felt like he couldn't write that like write as many scenes that set those kind of images up. But Chris Samnee seemed pretty determined. He was like, "No, we still got issues. We're gonna get this done." So I'm curious to see on whether they fulfill this promise on giving us a full splash page firepower issue.
Yeah, no, that would be insane. Like I do get what he's saying. Like it'd be definitely hard to pace a story with those guidelines, but it would definitely be pretty cool to let Somni just kind of let loose like that and do something
Let
like that.
Somney cook.
It would be crazy. Oh yeah, no, it would be absolutely insane. Like they could even just do like a full showdown issue, like just martial arts or something. But that would be a lot for a full page. So I don't really know. But yeah, no, I wouldn't put them past them for sure. And I definitely want to see it. For sure. How about you?
Oh yeah, I do. It could just be like a whole battle in the sky or some shit. I don't know. I let them do whatever they want. Let Somney cook. Let Kirkman cook. I just want to see them do wild stuff with firepower. Everything they've done so far has been tons of fun. We've complained in the past about like we've praised the series for not having variants except on the big issues, but I'm also not super against the whole like future issues having variants. I guess it went a lot longer than pretty much most series out there without having variants. But David Aja and like Dan Panosian, people like that, like when we're getting artists like that, I'm pretty excited. Like it makes me happy because they're great artists and they're probably going to do some awesome cover work. But yeah, no, this issue, it's a big one for sure. It's one that we've been waiting for a long time, and now we finally gotten confirmation. The motherfucking dragon's real. It's coming for the Johnson family. And one thing I also want to point out before we end this episode is that the pacing of the series has changed significantly. A lot of these reads are a lot quicker, and there's just like a lot of action. It's action packed within every issue. There's just so much happening. We're moving the plot forward pretty rapidly. So I'm interesting to see again once we hit that phase of settling down a bit, or whether it's going to be just full speed ahead for the rest of the series. I don't know because we still have no idea how long this is going to be.
Yeah, no, a lot of these issues to me do feel like I haven't read much manga, but it definitely feels like more along the lines of that kind of pacing,
Mm-hmm.
which I do really love. Like it's really fun, and I love when they really let the art tell the story. Especially not all the time, but yeah, no, I love when they give the artist the freedom. And yeah, I think the only thing I saw really in the RC Coda that like we talked a little about, like just the Chinese dragon design and them kind of picking out the design, not going really with a medieval style. But do you remember, did this come out before or after Shang-Chi?
I feel like
This
this
issue.
came out before Shang-Chi.
Did it come out before? Because yeah, in the RC Coda he says, and then Shang Chi came out. So now we have to make sure our dragon stands out from
Oh,
that.
okay, then maybe it was after.
So
It
I'm
says December 1,
so
2021.
oh yeah, and I believe Shang Chi was
Oh yeah.
September.
Yep.
So that oh yeah, but they would have had like the designs a lot
Yep.
before that. It looks similar in a way, like they're both Chinese styles, but I the colors on this one is like it
Yeah,
just
I think they
gorgeous.
look
I
different
love
enough
like
to be honest. Yeah. Yeah.
oh 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can tell they're both Chinese style
Yeah.
dragons, but yeah, no, they're definitely this one is definitely a lot bigger too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's it for this episode. I really enjoyed this issue. We're in for another action-packed issue next episode when we hit Firepower 19. Obviously, we're getting a new character on the cover who's actually one of my favorite characters, and I just want to praise Robert Kirkman, Chris Samnee, and everyone involved in this book. It's really hard to create a character that deep into a series that resonates so well. And this next issue is so cool. It has like some Last Ronin vibes and shit like that. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, catch us on the next episode where we'll talk about Firepower 19. And if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Firepower Pod or Firepower Podcast. There's also Firepower Podcast at Podbean. You can find all our episodes. And we're also on YouTube, so make sure you follow us to keep up with the firepower everywhere. And yeah, I think we'll see you next time. Stay roasted.